try harder. Maybe she should be a little bit more focused. By winter of her first grade year, after being severely punished for being disruptive in class, Paige decided no one understood her. She silently struggled in the traditional classroom learning environment. Paige tried valiantly to comply with how she was instructed to remember and recall information. The one year Paige went to college, a professor told her, "I know you're smart, but there's something wrong with you." It took decades for Paige to discover how she was different. In this speech, project number 3 of the Confident Communicator Manual, it's entitled, "I am broken, I'm not broken. I have changed." Paige will share with us the difference between a word wired brain and a JPEG wired brain. Please help me welcome Paige Olson.
Assumptions. All of us, all humans, we make assumptions. Then we take those assumptions and we create opinions. And those opinions are the basis for our behaviors. How we treat another person, how we talk to another person. And so what I want to do today is talk to you about something that is based in our DNA. It's not something we choose. I didn't choose to be wired the way I'm wired. I was given this gift from a pool of genetics from my dad and a pool of genetics from my mom, and they came together and they did what they chose to do. It wasn't a choice that I made. This DNA-based, biology-based thing that you can't see created behaviors that I projected that other people couldn't understand. They could understand my eyes, they could understand my hair, but they couldn't understand my thoughts. And until I reached kindergarten, I had no bad memories of learning. How I learned how to walk, how I learned how to talk, how I learned how to eat. Who knew? I didn't even know. Do any of you? I mean, who knew? But I learned. But then I got to kindergarten, and they started telling me how I was supposed to learn. And in specific, how I was supposed to remember and recall what I was learning. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, is how you recall. When we're in school, we're taught to recall using words. The word side of our brain, or better known as the left side of our brain. But speaking computer language, it's our word brain. I remember sitting in kindergarten class on the floor, the teacher in front of us in a little chair, and we were required to learn the months of the year. January, February, March, and each of us publicly had to repeat them in correct order, no mistakes, and we'd get a little star, and it would go on our nameplate, and the more stars we got, the smarter we were, apparently. And I could not remember the months of the year in order. And I was publicly humiliated by my teacher. She was a good lady, a great teacher. She didn't understand. I didn't understand enough to be able to tell her what was going on. I didn't know. I was a kid. I was 5 years old. She humiliated me. And she told me, "You are lazy. You don't try hard enough. Because if you did, you would be where all of your fellow students are." And then she gave me ways to learn. She said, "Okay, ABC, let's do it this way. First letter of every month." That didn't work. "Okay, well, let's make up a saying using the first letter of every month. Let's look at the endings of the different months and let's group them." And I still could not remember October. Eventually, after the weeks went by, I did. But in the meantime, I had been accused of being lazy, told I didn't try hard enough, and been humiliated publicly. Not because she was mean, but because she didn't know what to do. She had an assumption that I should be able to do it the way she was telling me. Move forward to 3rd grade. Multiplication tables, again, rote memory. We're told 1, 2, 3s, just memorize it. Card, 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 memorize it. Faster, faster, do it, do it, do it. Come on, come on, come on. And I couldn't finish those time tests to save the world. 10th grade history course. Y'all know history, love history? Memorize dates, places, names, times. Can't do it. I couldn't remember. I couldn't regurgitate and recall what I was being told on those tests and those arbitrary questions. I call them multiple guess tests. It was horrible. I didn't know. I didn't know. And like the professor said, I got into Lakeside. You're smart, but there's something wrong with you. I didn't know. Years, decades went by. And I discovered a book. The book was written in 2011. I found it in 2012. Between the pages of this book, I found me. I found me. It was just the beginning, though. It was the beginning. A few more years went by, and I found this book. And in this book, I understood me. You see, I don't work this way. I work on JPEG. JPEG. You know, the computer pictures. If I'm going to remember a month of a year, you ask me a month of a year, let's say July. In my mind, as soon as I said July, I see myself at the foot of the Washington Monument in 1976. I see myself in North Bend as a little girl with the loggers climbing their trees and doing competition. Okay? When I do multiplication tables, this is what I see. I see. And it's framed in my mind. That's what I see. 7 times 7 equals 50 minus 1. I will say 49. When I do history, I need to see what I'm talking about. See the picture. Whatever it is, I'm always seeing the person, seeing the picture, seeing the place. That's how I remember. So real quick today, I still try and default to what I was told I was supposed to do. I have to tell myself not to. So I buy a supplement for my horses. And I had to train myself how to go in and ask for the supplement and not being embarrassed. I finally, 6 months ago, gave myself permission to take a picture of the front of the sack. Now, instead of going in and being embarrassed in the store, I walk in and I go, picture in my head of the front of the sack. I want LMF letters. LMF, move that over. I see my daughter acting on the stage, stage 1, move that over. I see my horse, low car, move that over. And the guy goes, oh, how many sacks do you want? And I tell him, and when I walk outside, guess what's outside waiting for me to load in my truck? Exactly what I saw in my head.